Hello my dear students, I am Anjub Sheikh. Welcome back to my class. In previous video, we have studied about the stamen, microsporangium and about the pollen grains. In this video, we will be studying about the pistil, megasporangium and the embryo sac. The gynoecium or pistil, it represents the female reproductive part of the flower. The gynoecium may consist of a single pistil, so it will be called as a monocarpellary, or it may have more than one pistil, then it is called as the multicarpellary. Here you can see the image of the flower showing single pistil. If there is a single pistil in a flower, then it is called as the monocarpellary, and if there are more than one or many pistils, then it is called as the multicarpellary. Now, what are the types of pistil or gynoecium? Based on the position of the carpels, if the carpels are free, then it is called as the apocarpus. What is meant by apocarpus? When there are more than one, the pistils may be, if the pistils are free, then it is called as the apocarpus. Here you can see if there are more than one pistil, and if these pistils are free, then it is called as the apocarpus, and if the carpels, these are united together, then it is called as the syncarpus. Apocarpus means the carpels are free, while syncarpus means the carpels are united together. Here you can see the pictures of the apocarpus flower. Here the pistils are free, and syncarpus pistil, the pistils are united. Each pistil, it is composed of stigma, style, ovary and ovule. It is the female reproductive organ of the flower. So we have to study about the important parts of the pistil. Each pistil has three main parts. These are called as stigma, style and ovary. What is stigma? It serves as a landing platform for the pollen grains. The pollen grains stick to the stigma. Stigma is a sticky part of the pistil. So pollen grains, once they fall on the stigma, they stick to its surface. Then this one long slender part beneath the stigma is called as the style. At the base there is a bulged portion or the bulged part of the pistil, which is known as ovary. In this diagram you can see the pistil with the terminal style. Then here you can see the structure of the cut. It is the lateral view, and this is the gynobasic style. Inside the ovary there is ovarian cavity, which is also known as locule. The placenta is located inside the ovarian cavity. Arising from placenta there are megasporangia, which are commonly called as ovules. The number of ovules may be 1, as seen in case of the fruits of mango, as well as in the paddy, wheat, etc. The number of ovules in ovary is 1, while in case of some fruits the number of ovules will be many. For example, papaya, watermelon, orchids, etc. So the number of ovules in ovaries may vary. In case of mango there is a single ovule, while in papaya there are many ovules. Other examples of the fruits with many ovules are watermelon, orchids, etc. Now we have to study the structure of the megasporangium or ovule. The ovule is a small structure attached to placenta by means of a stalk, which is called as a funicle. In this diagram you can see the funicle. What is funicle? It is the place where the ovule is attached to the placenta. It is very small structure. Then the body of ovule gets fused with the funicle in the region called as hilum. This is the region where the body of ovule fuses with the funicle. Each ovule has one or two protective envelopes or the covering. These are called as the integuments. Here you can see the outer integument and this one is the inner integument. What is integument? It is a protective covering. So each ovule has one or two protective coverings on envelopes which are called as integuments. Then there is a small opening in the ovule which is called as the micropyle. See here, it is a very small opening in the ovule which is called as micropyle. Now opposite to the micropylar end there is a chalaza. Here you can see the chalazal pole. It is opposite to the micropylar end. See, this one is micropyle which is the small opening in the ovule and this one is chalazal pole. See, this is opposite to the micropylar end. Then within integuments there is a mass of cells which is called as the nucellus. See here, it is a mass of many cells which is called as a nucellus. Inside nucellus there is a embryo sac or female gametophyte. We will discuss this structure once again. Here is a structure of typical angiosperm ovule. It is a small structure attached to placenta by means of a stalk. This stalk is called as funicle. Then body of ovule fuses with the funicle in the region which is called as hilum. Then each ovule has protective covering. See, this one is outer protective covering and inner protective covering or envelopes which are called as integuments. Then small opening in the ovule is called as micropyle. Opposite to the micropyle there is chalaza. Then within integuments there is a mass of cells which is called as nucellus. Inside nucellus there is embryo sac or female gametophyte. Now what is meant by the megasporogenesis? It is the process of formation of megaspores from the megaspore mother cells. It is called as a megasporogenesis. The process of formation of megaspores from the megaspore mother cells, it is called as a megasporogenesis. Ovules generally differentiate a single megaspore mother cell in the micropylar region of the nucellus which undergoes meiotic divisions. The meiosis results in the formation of 4 megaspores. After undergoing meiotic divisions, it results in the formation of 4 megaspores which is also known as the megaspore tetrad. What is megasporogenesis? It is the process of formation of 4 megaspores from the megaspore mother cell or MMC is called as a megasporogenesis. So in this figure you can see the process of formation of megaspore tetrad which is known as the megasporogenesis. Now we have to study about the female gametophyte. In majority of flowering plant, one of the megaspore is functional while the other 3 degenerate. Just now we have discussed that in flowering plants 4 megaspores are found. But in majority of the flowering plants, one of the megaspore is only functional while the other 3 degenerate. So only the functional megaspore develops into the female gametophyte or embryo sac. Here you can see the picture of the female gametophyte or the embryo sac. This method of embryo sac formation from a single megaspore is termed as the monosporic development. What is meant by monosporic development? The method of embryo sac formation from a single megaspore is called as the monosporic development. Here you can see the formation of embryo sac. Now let us study the formation of embryo sac in little more detail. In this figure you can see the formation of embryo sac. See, the nucleus of the functional megaspore, it divides mitotically to form two nuclei. Now we have discussed that though 4 megaspores are formed, only one remains structurally active while 3 degenerate. So the nucleus of the functional megaspore, here you can see the 2 nucleate stage. Here the nucleus of the functional megaspore divides mitotically to form two nuclei which move to the opposite poles. Here in this stage you can see the two nuclei which are located at the opposite poles from one another. So this is the two nucleate embryo sac, and again sequential mitotic division take place. So it results in the formation of 4 nucleate and 8 nucleate stages of the embryo sac. See, these are the 4 nucleate and 8 nucleate stages of the embryo sac. It is of interest to note that these mitotic divisions are strictly prenuclear. That means nuclear divisions are not followed immediately by cell wall formation. After the 8 nucleate stage, cell walls are laid down, leading to the organization of the typical female gametophyte or embryo sac. Here you can observe the distribution of cells inside the embryo sac. Here you can see the distribution of the nuclei in the embryo sac. Now 6 of the 8 nuclei, these are surrounded by the cell walls. 6 of the, see, there are total 8 nuclei. So out of 8 nuclei, the 6 nuclei are surrounded by the cell walls, and then these are organized into the cells. The remaining 2 nuclei, these are called as the polar nuclei. These are situated below the egg apparatus in the large central cell. See, out of 8 nuclei, 6 are surrounded by cell wall, while remaining 2, which are known as the polar nuclei, these are situated below the egg apparatus in the large central cell. There is a characteristic distribution of cells within the embryo sac. The 3 cells are grouped together at the micropylar end, and they consist of the egg apparatus. Here you can see the 3 cells. These are grouped together at the micropylar end. See, cell 1, 2 and this one is the third cell. So these are grouped together at the micropylar end, and then they together constitute the egg apparatus. Egg apparatus in turn consists of 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. Here this front one are the synergids, while this upper one is called as the egg cell. These synergids have special cellular thickenings at the micropylar tip to form the filiform apparatus. See, these two are the synergids. They have special thickening at the micropylar end. So these are called as the filiform apparatus. It plays important role in guiding the pollen tubes into the synergids. See, this filiform apparatus plays important role in guiding the pollen grains into the synergids. There are 3 cells at the chalazal end. Here you can see there are 3 cells at the chalazal end, and these are called as the antipodals. There is a large central cell, has 2 polar nuclei. See, this one is the large central cell with 2 polar nuclei. So a typical, the large central cell, it has 2 polar nuclei. So a typical angiosperm embryo sac at maturity, though it is 8 nucleate, it is 7 celled. Why it is 7 cell? Because the bigger cell consists of 2 nuclei. So this is bigger one cell. These are 3, total 4, and these 3 at the base. So total 7 cells. Though it is 7 celled, it is 8 nucleate. So this is the process of formation of embryo sac. In next video, we will be discussing about the process known as pollination. Thank you.